Okay, what's good, y'all? Get ready for your first staff session. We're gonna learn figure eights. And so, without further ado, grab your staff and we'll get started. So, to start with the figure eight, when you hold your staff like this, and for a starting position, grab the bottom and strike. And stay like this. Now, it's up to you whether you want to do one leg forward, two legs together, and the other leg forward. I recommend you practice all three positions. But first, to keep things simple, we'll work with the same arm forward as the leg that is forward. Now, again, you're like this. We're going to start with the one arm figure eight. And so you just did one strike down, and the bottom of the staff is in front of your belly. Now what I want you to do is bring the top of the staff to your back side, like this. Now this might be the most difficult part of the movement, to be able to have that nice and vertical, okay? Notice how I kind of release the staff to get it nice and vertical. I still hold it with my thumb and my pinky, mostly. So, you did one strike down, row as low as you can and as close to your body, that's the most important part, as close to your body as you can to keep the staff as vertical as possible. Okay? And as you do this, you're kind of bringing the back side of the staff for another strike. This is a bit of a wrist stretch, and for beginners, you might be able to only go down here, or you might even end up here. But try and stretch your wrist as much as you can. Point down with your finger, which might help. So take your index finger, point down and behind you. Try and point behind you as much as you can. And notice this is striking. Now you want to bring the bottom of the staff to your back side as you strike with the top of the staff. That's half the movement and the hardest part. Okay. Now you want to repeat this, but on the inside. So again, staff down in front of you and kind of strike with the bottom of the staff. And then switch it up again. Boom. And we're back to the starting position. Okay, let's do it from the side. And so you go down behind you, bringing the bottom forward as much as you can, and the staff as close to your body as you can to keep a vertical axis. You do have for rotation, you're back with the front strike, and then you go inside. Bring the bottom of the staff inside, strike with the top, and that's one full figure eight. So let's do it again from the front. Actually, let's do it from the other side so you can see. So, top of the staff goes to your back side, bottom goes forward, bottom goes to your back side, and you strike with the top. You go back and you row inside. I say row because it's kind of like rowing a boat with the tip on both sides, okay? So you row inside, and then you strike the top down. This is the forward or downward figure eight. So we call this either forward or downwards because you're kind of striking downwards, but also if this was a wheel, okay, it makes sense that it's going forward, right? Okay. A couple of tips. If you're finding you have trouble with this, you can stretch your wrist like that. Hold that stretch for a little and do a little bit of that to warm up. Okay, do it slowly as you're catching momentum at the extent of your mobility, and it can cause some whiplash. So softly, back and forth, and as you get warmed up and build strength with time, you can do this movement a little faster. It's a great warm-up to integrate before you do any staff exercise. I'll break down the movement one more time so you can follow along this time. Okay, so again, starting position. Strike with the bottom, like an overhead strike. Overhead strike is not quite powerful as a strike. It might be used more to remove a weapon from coming in front of you, like this, right? More as a block or deflection. And then back with the front. Now if you use momentum, it can be a bit of a strike as well, okay? But to get started, you want to work slow and make sure you get the form proper. Okay, so 1, 2, and then you bring the staff in front, bring the bottom in front, bring the top behind, bring the bottom behind, bring the top in front, bring the bottom in front, bring the top behind, and bring the bottom behind. Okay, again, beginner mistakes that I often see is going and kind of not being able to dip down here. You end up going like this and you're kind of all wonky. Been doing this for so long, it's hard for me to do it wrong. But yeah, you do this. Now, also beginner mistakes. Watch out for your knees when you're coming back down here and your crotch. Okay? So make sure the bottom comes next to you and not so much like this. Because if you think of it, you're kind of going from that angle to that angle. And if you're trying to go inside, keeping that same angle, you're gonna hit yourself in the crotch, which is not so pleasant. Okay, so go slow. Make sure you do both sides properly. To make this a little easier, you may also train with the end of the staff, and just all you gotta do is draw a circle inside and outside, and this reduces the chances of you hitting yourself with the bottom. Okay, and you get that momentum a little more, which helps stretch out your wrist. This can also practice. You can redo the same movement with the sword, and it works. Okay. Now you may also want to train the reverse of this to help you bring the bottom into proper alignment. Okay, kind of in reverse grip. And back to middle grip. Do it from the side one more time. Then show you. I'm going to switch leg and switch arm. You can also practice just switching the leg and see how that feels. Okay, it's a bit more of a across the chest stretch. But it's good to practice both positions. And we're going to switch arms. So the left leg is in front now, and your left arm is in front. And again, you want to practice the same thing with your left arm. Make sure you learn both sides. And then make sure you also practice the reverse figure eight. So So this was forwards, right, or downwards, striking downwards. You can do the same movement with uppercuts. Now watch out that you don't strike your head. Coming like this. Go to the side of your shoulder and kind of try and rub both of your shoulders with the tip of the staff. See how rubbing on this, and then as much as possible, reaching for this shoulder without locking it in there. Okay. And so that's the backwards or upwards figure 8. Now, you've practiced with the right hand, you've practiced with the left hand, and you may also practice with both hands. To do so, both thumbs up, both palms facing each other, and we'll do the same thing. So, same movement as if you're doing with one hand, but you're assisting with the other hand. Last little tip, you may want to break down the movements into 2 motions. So here's the inwards motion and the outwards motion. And then you practice alternating both. That's it for the tutorial. We'll set the reps down below, which I would like you to practice for a week. Okay, so every day for a week, you do 20 reps of each variation. 20 reps with the right hand going forwards, 20 reps with the left hand going forwards, 20 reps with the right hand going backwards, and 20 reps with the left hand going backwards. And then with two-handed, 20 reps forward and 20 reps backwards. If you would like to accelerate your progression, you can do even 50 or 100 reps per session. You will learn a lot faster, but do at least 20 reps every day for a week, and this will help you really integrate this into your muscle memory. In the next video of this section, we're going to talk about how to do the spins. So stay tuned and check your library for the next video. Happy practicing.